So I just did all these problems and did a review, so we're going to see. I'm going to have to fake it a little bit, okay? So for the review, what I don't do will be homework. So this, and this will be homework. Can you see it? Great. Okay? I know that this is a circle, and I know my parent function is x squared plus y squared equals 1. So then when I look here, I know that my center is negative 3, 0. So it started at 0, 0, and then it went left 3. Horizontal translation, left 3. My radius that originally would be 1 is now 5, so it's 5 times as big. Vertical stretch by a factor of 5. Okay? So that's kind of what I want you to do here and here. All right, this one, I would use Desmos to do it, and you'll see this is cubic and this is linear. If I do this and I set it equal to 0, you haven't learned how to do solve cubic equations, so I would do a table. But before I do a table, what I decided to do over here was draw it. So I look, that's vertical translation up 1, and I know it's cubic, so it makes a squiggle. If I graph the blue dude, that's down to, let me see if I can show this a little bit better. So there's the cubic. And then if I was graphing the line, it's down 2, up 2, right 1. Okay, I faked it. So I know that there's going to be at least one point of intersection. So when I make my table, I went, okay, it's going to be something negative in the x and something negative for the y. So what point would I pick? Well, see how you see the 1/3? Well, if I pick 2, 2 cubed is 8. 8 times a third is a fraction. If I do this, I'm not going to get a fraction when I plug it in. So I have to pick a number that would make sense. A number that makes sense to me is 3. 3 cubed is 27. A third of 27 is 9. I'm sorry, it's negative 3 because it's in this quadrant. Negative 3 cubed is negative 27. A third of negative 27 is negative 9, plus 1 is negative 8. 2 times negative 3 is also negative 8. So if you look, that's what I picked. Now it could intersect one more time, and Desmos will tell you that, okay? All right. You'll do these two problems yourself. All right, this one here. We're going to pretend we don't see any of this. So, again, this is a little frustrating to you, but I just spent the last hour doing this, and it all disappeared. Okay? So, you'll be fine, and so will I. So, 2 lemon meringues cost 3 less than 4 blueberry pies. Sorry, I'm really tired now. So when you go, but less, I thought it was minus. Wouldn't it be 3 minus? Well, if I was 3 less years than you, and you're 8, I'm 5. Because 8 minus 3 is 5. The second sentence. 3 lemon meringues cost 9 more than 3 blueberries. So now I got my system of equations. The problem is they weren't lined up all cute. So I wanted to put the letters on the same side. So I moved the 4b. And I put that right there. And then I kept the 2L equals negative 3. And then I moved the 3B over, that's negative 3B. And then plus the 3L equals 9. Then I was like, okay, if I'm going to solve a system, whatever this guy is, give it to this guy. Whatever this guy is, give it to this one. Let me zoom in a little bit. Now, I had to make this negative because there were 2 negatives, and I can only have 1. So then I multiplied this times this times this. And I got that. Then I multiplied this by this by this, and I got that. And then I added them up and got 6. I divided by 6, and I got L equals 7.5. Well, I had to go back to the question. What did they ask me? They asked me how much it cost. So it's okay that I got a decimal because that's $7.50. So I know that lemon meringues cost $7.50. Well, how the heck would I figure out how much blueberries are? What I did is I used this equation and I plugged 7.5 into L. 3 times 7.5 is 22.5. I subtracted 9 and got 13.5. I divided by 3 and got $2.70. Okay. Again, this isn't ideal, but I don't have another one, so I can't redo them all. I wanted to do this one, so I put the 2m plus 4 in for x and then added 1. I simplified the 4 and the 1, and I got 5. Boxed it out and got that. Now I wanted to point out for letter C, see how the 5 is going to go in for x? But for this one, it should go in for y. And if it's squared, you should have 2 answers. You'll do the other ones. Okay. This one, it said solve by completing the square. So I had this. I moved over the -6. Then I boxed it out and I got 4. So then I took this 4 and I added it there and I added it there. And then I took my x plus 2 and I squared it. So that when I put it in vertex form, let me zoom out a little bit, I saw that my vertex was -2, 2, and I know since this is positive, it's going up. Well, if it's going up, then actually I don't even have any x-intercepts. As a side note, if I asked you to solve this, you would go square root. Can't take the square root of a negative. That's why there's no x's. Sorry, my dog's in the background barking. You'll do this, you'll do this. For this problem, change it to squared. Okay. Now, how would you solve this? Subtract 4. If it's dividing by 3, the opposite of that is multiplying by 3. And then box this out. Move the 27 over. Divide by 9. And then I would have to do the quadratic formula. So I faked it because it was just easier. I didn't want it to, you can't fake it, but just so you get the concept, okay? And I faked it and pretended I got -4 and 5. If that was the case and I graphed it, it would make a U like this. And then when I shade up, which is my yellow, like if I go greater than, I shade up, I notice it touches on the blue between -4 and 5. Again, -4 and 5 are fake. If you did the quadratic formula, they'd be decimals. Therefore, it's in the middle, and this would be my answer. This one, you can go back to the whole thing when I did my inequalities, which is, I think, here on that whole stuff with inequalities. Okay. The next page, I told you, kind of hinted you, this makes a U, this makes a line. You're going to do the inequalities like before. This one you can do, okay? This one I did for you, so let me zoom it in a little bit. This was on your quiz, okay? The first thing I did is I added I added x. Then I squared both sides, and when I square both sides, I boxed it out, and I got that. And then I moved this over, set it equal to 0, got that. Magic x'd it, got that. Set it equal to 0, got 8 and 1. When I plugged in 8, 3 times 8 is 24. Plus 1 is 25. The square root of 25 is 5. Minus 8 is -3, so that one worked. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. The square root of 4 is 2. 2 minus 1 does not equal -3. That's why it was extraneous. When I graph it, if I would have graphed this, that is a radical function. And then if I graph this, sorry, I should have done this. This is a radical function. And then when I graph this, it's a line. So we can see it actually only crosses one time. But the reason they thought it was a second time is because you squared it, they thought it was like a U. So this is where the 1 would be, but it's extraneous. That's the only answer. That means the x value would be 8. Okay? And look, 3 times 8 is 24, plus 1 is 25. The square root of 25, 5. 8 minus 3, 5. So this would actually be the point of intersection. Okay? This one, I wanted to do this one for you as well. So when I did this problem, I noticed that they had 4s at the bottom. So I multiplied everything by 4. And some of you went, well, what about the 2? Yeah, well, if I multiply by 4, the 2 will cancel out. So when I multiplied by 4, I was left with 3x squared. When I multiplied by 4, I was left with 5x. And when I multiplied by 4, 4 goes into 2 times 1 is 2. Then I set it equal to 0, and then I factored it, and then I solved it. Okay? And some of you go, when is it going to be extraneous? A lot of time it's extraneous when you have square roots or you have x's on the bottom. Any other time, usually your answer is your answer unless you made a mistake. Okay? In this one, you needed to know if it was odd, even, or neither. And so I'm going to do one of them. You plug in negative x, and when you cube a negative, it stays negative, and then that's minus x. If you look, positive, positive is how it started. It ended negative, negative. That's the opposite. Boom, that's odd. If this was positive, positive, and this was positive, positive, it would be even. If this was positive, positive, and this was positive, negative, I can't tell if they're the same or opposite. That would be neither. Okay? So that's it.